Now that you've selected your trade books based on our 5 A's, what do you do with them? How do we link them to our activities? I have 3 main ways that we want to use those trade books in our content-based instruction. First of all, we're using our trade books to activate prior knowledge and motivate and interest our learners. And we do this before reading or learning. So to do this, we want to get our books ready to introduce the content that we're going to be teaching the boys and girls. So for instance, let's say in math we're teaching fractions. We're going to get a book out that has content about fractions. And I have some great fiction books and nonfiction books that introduce fractions. So I would read that book. Also, we want to, maybe even before reading the book, get them interested in the information by showing a demonstration, a video clip, doing an art project, creating a graphic organizer, or playing some kind of music that gets their mind activated and interested in the content that you're teaching. So sometimes we use the book as our activating tool, but sometimes we use something before the book to get them interested in the book, which will get them interested in the content. So it's a little complicated. The next way we use our trade books is before, during, and after reading by making connections. And we talked about making connections the last 2 weeks when we looked at our comprehension skills. Students do not understand fully unless they can connect to what you're sharing with them. So we use the trade book to help them connect to the topic, the feelings and the actions of the informational materials that you're sharing with them. So, maybe you're reading, again, that book about fractions, and in that book about fractions, it's dividing up food. And so it might be dividing up cookies or pie or pizza or bananas, whatever it is. By sharing that story before you teach about fractions, they can make that connection. They've divided food between friends or family. They've sliced a pizza or a pie or divided cookies from a package. And so we're connecting them to the topic they're going to be learning about, and it makes it real. We can also extend upon the trade book learning through conversations about the information in the book, putting information on graphic organizers, or using art to make our connections stronger. The last way we use trade books to help connect students to the learning in the content area is to really give them the opportunity to get the book in their hands and examine and map the text structure. So to make sure that they're going to understand what they're reading in a book, we need to help them figure out before, during their reading opportunities, what is the text structure of this book? And sometimes we want to map that. And if you think back to last week when we learned about text structure, we really looked at those 5 text structures of cause and effect, compare, contrast, sequence, description, and problem solution. When you pull a book out and you want to read a book, let's say this time the book is about the solar system. Is this book a cause and effect book? What kind of graphic organizer would we use for that? And we actually had a slide that shared this. So the boys and girls would see that graphic organizer. They would know that they're reading a cause and effect text, and then they could listen for the cause and effect relationships. The same thing is true if you're reading a book that has descriptive information. Going back to that fraction book, a lot of my fraction books are descriptive. They're just showing lots of different information in different ways. And so you show them, let's web what we learn. Let's web what we learned about numerators. Let's web what we learned about denominators. And knowing the text structure allows them to find the most information from the book you're reading and enhance their understanding. The difference would be using a textbook instead of a trade book to activate prior knowledge, to make connections, and to look at text structure. And you're just not going to have those opportunities when you're using a textbook that you would have when you're using a trade book. So these trade books allow us to dig deeper and make learning more meaningful for our students.